Welcome back, warriors. I witnessed my closest friend tear himself apart by always playing the nice guy. He surrendered everything, pardoned everyone, sacrificed his calm for people who couldn't recall his name. 3 years later, I encountered him again. He wasn't shattered anymore. He was ruthless. He told me something I'll forever remember. His words were, "The world stayed the same. I transformed. I refused to remain fragile." Those words haunted me because somewhere inside I understood this wasn't only about his journey. It was my story, and it's yours as well. At this moment, 2 versions of you exist. The first version, the one who explains, apologizes, tolerates, and keeps wishing others will change. You exhaust yourself trying to be understood, appreciated, and loved. Yet the more you offer, the less they recognize your worth. Next comes version 2, the quiet one, the confident one, the one who never argues, never begs, never chases. They simply cut people off without drama, without remorse. Version 1 has dominated your life far too long, and it's destroying you. It made you soft where you should be sharp, gentle where you should be calculated. Machiavelli once penned these words, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot have both." His message wasn't about being cruel. It was about wielding control, about recognizing when to stop being someone who shatters for others. What I'm going to show you today is how to awaken version 2, the ruthless version of yourself, the one Machiavelli described, the one people sense but can never manipulate. 8 shifts stand between these 2 versions of yourself. Every single one will require a fragment of your former self. Every one will feel as though you're incinerating what once defined you. Yet, if you remain until the end, you'll emerge unrecognizable to the person you once were. You'll cease searching for peace in others and begin creating it from inside yourself. You'll discover the strength of becoming untouchable because this world will shatter you unless you turn ruthless. Before we dive in, I need you to leave this statement in the comments. I refuse to break again. Number 1, withdraw yourself from the ungrateful. Your first transformation toward ruthlessness starts with this realization. Your greatest vulnerability was never your heart. It was the hands you placed it in. You've been draining energy into people who consume your light yet never once return it. You continued helping, forgiving, explaining, praying that perhaps, just perhaps, they'd finally recognize your value. Yet they never will. Why? In the psychology of power, anything given freely gets unconsciously dismissed. Humans naturally associate generosity with weakness. Their assumption is that if you give too freely, it's because you crave approval. And once someone detects that craving, they own you. This is how vulnerability takes root. Not through failure, but through emotional reliance masked as generosity. Machiavelli once declared, "People are faster to wrong someone who is loved than someone who is feared." The ungrateful take advantage of your kindness precisely because they don't fear losing it. They're certain you'll remain. They're confident you'll pardon them. They're aware that regardless of how terribly they treat you, you'll justify their actions with phrases like they're just dealing with something. That isn't compassion. That's lying to yourself. The reality is people recall pain, not generosity. They honor consequences, not explanations. The more predictable your forgiveness, the more you fade from sight. Each time you accepted disrespect, you conditioned them to view you as replaceable. Each time you justified your value, you proved it needed defending. This is the hidden psychology behind why good people get shattered first. The world does not crush you because you are kind. It crushes you because you mistake being kind for being powerless. The ungrateful are predators wearing human masks. They don't pursue your body. They pursue your guilt. They cause you to feel wrong for defending yourself. They turn your empathy into a blade and wound you with it. Quit believing you owe anyone your devotion simply because you once cared. Your attention is a privilege, not an entitlement. Offer it only to those who have proven it through unwavering respect. Let everyone else experience the sting of your absence. Detachment becomes your shield. Indifference becomes your vengeance. Machiavelli grasped this profoundly when he wrote, "Men are ungrateful, fickle, false, cowardly, and covetous." His warning was clear: never hand power to the ungrateful because they'll wield it to destroy you. You need to abandon the notion that being good will rescue you. Goodness without limits is a slow death sentence. Ruthlessness isn't cruelty, it's a correction. It's the moment you cease rewarding betrayal with access. When you quit answering every call, quit pardoning every lie, quit justifying your silence, the ungrateful start panicking. They discover they can no longer feast on your emotional responses. That's the moment power transfers. You become the person who chooses who earns your attention and who slips into irrelevance. Those who guard their energy like a weapon own the world, not those who squander it like a fleeting wish. All the strength you invest in the wrong people is power taken directly from your future. Pull it back, store it up, restore it. Let them question where your warmth went. Tell them it turned cold once you recognized the truth. Certain people have earned your distance far more than your devotion. Go ahead and leave this affirmation in the comments. My kindness has boundaries. Number 2, transform pain into power. Pain is the most honest teacher because it never deceives. It refuses to flatter your ego. It ignores your excuses. It exposes you, strips you, incinerates every weakness inside you until only the authentic self survives. What separates the broken from the powerful is not the volume of pain they endured. It's how they responded to it. Weak people sink in pain because they keep looking for fairness. They still believe the world owes them recovery. Yet ruthless minds understand the reality. Pain is currency. You either invest it in building yourself or squander it through complaining. Those who emerge from destruction are not fortunate. They're calculated. They examine betrayal, heartbreak, and failure. And rather than asking, "Why me?" they ask, "What does this reveal about control?" Machiavelli once stated, "Never squander the opportunity presented by a good crisis. Each moment of suffering presents a chance to transform into someone untouchable." Pain is not a punishment. It's data. It reveals precisely where your vulnerability resides. Every betrayal exposes who you trusted too freely. Each rejection uncovers where you had placed your worth. Each loss shatters the illusion of permanence. Once you begin viewing pain through that lens, it ceases being a wound and transforms into a weapon. You begin using it to sharpen your mind rather than demolish it. The dark psychology behind transformation involves converting suffering into strategy. Most people weep to feel better. The strong reflect to grow stronger. When they're wounded, they don't pursue closure. They generate power. They observe their enemies instead of despising them. They examine their failures instead of running from them. They convert every heartbreak into emotional discipline, every disappointment into focus. That's the core of Machiavellian resilience, using the world's cruelty as fuel rather than as chains. Pain is the furnace where dominance is forged. When life shatters you, it reveals who you truly are beneath the masks. Quit running from it. Sit with it. Embrace every ounce of the fire. Because once you endure your own suffering, nobody else can control you through fear. The instant you stop fearing pain, you become completely unpredictable. And unpredictability is power. When others attempt to manipulate you through guilt or rejection, it ceases to work because you've already endured worse and survived. Machiavelli held that a wise man gains more from adversity than from comfort. That's because pain triggers awareness. It demands evolution. It destroys illusion. You begin seeing people as they truly are, not as you hoped they would be. You begin selecting logic over emotion. The more you withstand, the less reactive you become. You carry yourself like someone who has walked through the fire and survived. That presence demands respect because it's dangerous. Others sense it the moment you enter a room. The aura of someone who has converted every wound into wisdom. You no longer bear scars with shame. You display them like armor. Your silence grows weighty, your gaze unwavering. That's when you realize you've crossed from being shaped by pain to shaping others through it. When life wounds you next, don't curse it. Examine it. Ask yourself what hidden advantage lies here. Because every moment of agony holds a seed of dominance if you're ruthless enough to claim it. Leave this affirmation in the comments. My pain fuels power. Number 3, destroy the need to be understood. The craving to be understood is the trap that keeps powerful minds shackled to mediocrity. You keep justifying yourself, hoping people will recognize your intentions, your goodness, your truth. But here's the brutal reality. Most have no interest in understanding you. They only seek to categorize you. They don't listen to understand. They listen to discover weakness. The more you explain, the more ammunition you hand them to wield against you. In dark psychology, understanding someone means controlling them. When people grasp your motives, they learn how to manipulate you. That's why the ruthless remain silent. They allow others to guess, project, assume, and within that confusion, they stay untouchable. Machiavelli once declared, "He who desires to be obeyed must understand how to command, and to command you must never over-explain because explaining is a defensive posture. It signals that you still crave validation. Power doesn't justify itself. It simply exists. The most formidable people are those who never explain why they act, feel, or vanish. Their silence generates tension. That tension breeds respect. Those who are weak plead for recognition. The powerful opt to remain misread. Recognize that once you cease defending yourself, you turn unpredictable. Unpredictability is fear's sibling. No one governs what they cannot decipher. That is why rulers, commanders, and tacticians throughout history perfected the craft of ambiguity. They said less than they understood and did more than they justified. You need to adopt this same approach. Each time you hurry to clarify your motives, you surrender the blueprint of your emotional world. You are showing others exactly how to disarm you. The peril of being fully transparent is that it welcomes dissection, and dissection inevitably destroys the mystique of power. Machiavelli penned, "What the fool does at last, the wise man does immediately." The wise cease justifying themselves early while the fool continues speaking until he stands exposed. No one is owed clarity regarding your decisions. No one is owed a justification for your distance, your quietness, your principles, or your transformation. Let them misread you. Let them assume you've turned cold, prideful, disconnected. Each wrong label they place on you builds another layer of your shield. The instant you stop correcting them, control returns to you. Control resides in restraint. Silence is not weakness. It's weaponized composure. It unsettles others since they cannot foresee your next action. That uncertainty renders them cautious. This is psychological supremacy. Consider the most formidable individuals you have ever encountered. They were never loud. They were collected. Their presence commanded attention. Not because they raised their voice, but because they had no need to. Each word they withheld resonated louder than 1,000 explanations. You need to embody that kind of presence. An enigma that no one can entirely decipher. A tempest that gives no warning. When someone attempts to provoke you, let your quiet smother their ego. When someone misjudges you, let them dwell in their own presumption. Truth is your greatest weapon. Never waste it proving innocence. Those who need to understand you don't deserve to. Those who genuinely value you will never require an explanation. Power is not about persuading others. It is about growing so self-confident that their bewilderment ceases to concern you. When you no longer need to be understood, you at last begin to comprehend yourself. Go ahead and share this affirmation in the comments. My silence radiates power. Number 4, detach. Never beg. Begging for attention, love, or closure is how the mighty become enslaved. The harder you pursue what is walking away, the smaller you grow in the eyes of those who never planned to value you. Detachment is not coldness. It is command. It is the ability to walk away from anything that endangers your self-worth, regardless of how badly you desired it. Many people confuse attachment with loyalty, yet they are polar opposites. Loyalty represents strength. Attachment is dependence. Society has trained you to think that fighting for people demonstrates your devotion. Yet, in dark psychology, the one who pursues always forfeits power. The act of pleading, whether for time, affection, or attention, signals weakness, and weakness attracts exploitation. Machiavelli once stated, "The one who has not mastered himself can never be the master of others." When your feelings dominate you, controlling you becomes effortless. The ruthless detach not because they have no feelings, but because they will not be enslaved by them. When someone withdraws, they do not argue or justify themselves. They simply observe. When someone shows them disrespect, they never plead, they disappear. Silence serves as their blade. Their absence conveys the message. In a world built on emotional manipulation, detachment is the supreme rebellion. It frightens manipulators because it eliminates their source of power, your emotional reaction. When you stop reacting, you grow unreadable. When you are impossible to read, you become feared. The hidden weapon of the powerful is never rage. It is indifference. Indifference scorches colder than hatred and endures longer than love. Once people can no longer anticipate how you will respond, they forfeit their grip over your mind. That is when your energy starts to transform. You cease being the one who waits and become the one who chooses. Those who previously ignored you begin to register your silence because quiet from a formerly reactive person roars louder than any confrontation. Detachment grants you an unusual form of authority. The authority to leave chaos behind with your serenity undisturbed. Machiavelli held that mastery over emotions formed the bedrock of every effective ruler because those unable to detach are destined to be governed by those who can. He declared that people are governed by two core impulses, either by love or by fear. If you can conquer your attachment, you will command both. The ruthless recognize that not everyone merits access, not every feeling merits expression, and not every bond merits restoration. You need to learn to retract your energy without notice, to shut doors softly, and to make your absence feel like retribution. That represents psychological warfare in its most refined expression. The further you detach, the greater the power you recover. You start to discover that peace is not rooted in connection. It is rooted in control. Genuine strength is when you can cherish someone profoundly yet depart the instant they compromise your self-respect. Detachment doesn't mean you're indifferent. It means you care properly about yourself first. Once you cease begging, you cease bleeding. And once you stop bleeding, no one can ever feed off you again. Share this affirmation in the comments below. I choose peace over people. Number 5, boundaries serve as your armor. Boundaries are the unseen walls that divide power from disorder. Without them, your existence turns into an open landscape where anyone can walk in, seize whatever they please, and leave you depleted. You were conditioned to think that refusing is selfish, that establishing limits renders you unkind. In reality, the lack of boundaries is self-betrayal. Each time you accept disrespect, each time you pardon without consequence, each time you allow people to cross lines for the sake of peace, you give away pieces of yourself. Feeble men and women mistake tolerance for strength. The ruthless understand the difference. They recognize that an unprotected heart becomes a target. Machiavelli once wrote, "A prince who lacks wisdom himself cannot receive good counsel." His meaning was straightforward. If you fail to protect yourself, nobody else will. The world does not reward vulnerability, it takes advantage of it. Those who appreciate your generosity today will exploit your mercy tomorrow. Such is the essence of unbridled human appetite. Others will always probe the boundaries you decline to uphold. Boundaries are not barriers meant to shut others out. They are gates that safeguard what is sacred within you. They are not harshness. They are clarity. And clarity frightens manipulators because it strips away their leverage. Within dark psychology, boundaries serve as instruments of control. Whoever enforces them sets the conditions of every relationship. When you firmly say no without remorse, you project dominance. When you remove access following betrayal, you declare that your value is non-negotiable. Those with power never argue about respect. They express it through distance. Forgiveness lacking consequences is surrender. Mercy without framework breeds chaos. The instant you cease rewarding poor behavior with your presence, you start to command silence from those who previously disrespected you. The afraid will call it arrogance. The feeble will brand it ego, but the wise will see it as self-command. Machiavelli also stated, "He who permits himself to be fooled deserves the deception." You instruct people how to treat you through what you accept. The instant you begin guarding your space like a stronghold, the parasites disappear, the noise subsides, and your peace returns. That is when you finally discover who genuinely values you. Those who honor your rules rather than resenting them. Boundaries draw equality and drive away corruption. They separate the loyal from the opportunistic, the authentic from the manipulative. They make your company feel earned, not freely accessible. To exist without boundaries is to exist without dignity. To hold them firmly is to govern your world with quiet authority. The ruthless recognize that kindness without protection invites ruin. So they construct walls not from fear but from wisdom. Because the aim is not to be liked, it is to be respected. Keep in mind, every boundary you establish is a declaration. Here is where my peace begins. And those who genuinely value you will never request that you lower your armor. They will stand outside it with honor. Now go ahead and share this affirmation in the comments. My boundaries shield me. Number 6. Master the art of silence. Silence is the tool the powerful wield when words lose their worth. Most people dread silence because it reveals their absence of control. They speak to fill the void, to demonstrate their confidence, to chase validation through noise. Yet every needless word you utter turns into ammunition for another person's manipulation. The wise grasp that in a world obsessed with speaking, silence is dominance. Machiavelli once stated, "Never expose all your thoughts, for it renders you predictable and defenseless." The instant people can decipher your emotions, they can anticipate your reactions. And whoever can predict you gains the ability to control you. Silence renders you impossible to read. It cultivates an aura of mystery that compels others to second-guess themselves. The silent man in the room always commands more power than the one demanding attention. In dark psychology, silence is not emptiness. It is strategy. It tips the balance of power without confrontation. When you remain silent, you allow others to expose everything. They unveil their insecurities, intentions, and vulnerabilities while attempting to figure you out. The ruthless leverage this to their benefit. They listen more than they talk, observe more than they clarify, and act more than they pledge. The feeble hurry to prove their argument. The strong wait for the ideal moment to strike. Each pause you maintain in a conversation amplifies your authority. Each time you let others break the silence, they unwittingly give up information. Machiavelli held that power flourishes through perception. The less people grasp about your intentions, the more they dread them. Silence generates psychological tension. It causes others to project their anxieties onto you. They begin wondering what you are contemplating, what you might do next. And that uncertainty grants you invisible power. This is why silence is not absence. It is presence amplified. You need not shout to be heard. Your composure speaks louder than disorder. The noisiest person seldom holds power. They hunger for it, but the quiet one already commands it. History's greatest rulers grasp this principle. The less you disclose, the more they speculate. The more they envision, the more they comply. You must master turning your composure into a weapon, making silence your primary language. When somebody insults you, remain quiet and watch them crumble in their own guilt. When somebody provokes you, offer no response and let their desperation reveal them. Your quiet will resonate louder than any verbal dispute. Others anticipate noise. Stillness terrifies them. Control resides in stillness. Machiavelli stated, "What the wise man does immediately, the fool does at last." Ultimately, fools defend themselves through words. The wise protect themselves through quietude. The instant you cease explaining, you transition from emotional to strategic. You cease playing defense and begin commanding the field. True power never begs for understanding. It insists on being felt. Silence renders you unpredictable, and unpredictability cultivates respect. Once you master holding your tongue, you master holding your power. And in a world where every person craves to be heard, the one who truly conquers silence becomes impossible to defeat. Leave this affirmation in the comments below. My silence governs chaos. Number 7, never display full loyalty. Loyalty becomes a weapon only when applied selectively. The instant you offer it blindly, it turns into your prison. Machiavelli cautioned that men are thankless, unpredictable, and dishonest. So expecting pure loyalty is welcoming inevitable betrayal. Power resides with those who understand when to unite and when to retreat. The world is not driven by goodness. It is driven by strategy. When you demonstrate total loyalty to anyone, a friend, a mentor, or a leader, you relinquish your independence. They begin viewing your devotion as frailty, not virtue. The loyal are foreseeable, and predictability means death in the arena of power. Dark psychology reveals that loyalty must be a calculated decision, never an emotional impulse. True Machiavellian loyalty is conditional. It serves your advancement, your safety, your ascent. The moment it ceases to serve those, it must be reassessed. Most people stay loyal out of fear of solitude, fear of being deemed untrustworthy, fear of losing validation. Yet these are the very people who end up abandoned, deceived, or cast aside once they are no longer valuable. Those with power never bind themselves to a person. They bind themselves to opportunity. They understand alliances shift like tides. They don't oppose it. They navigate it. Your loyalty should be a disguise, not your essence. Put it on when it serves you, and take it off when it turns into a burden. This is not ruthlessness. It's pragmatism. The world rewards those who calculate, not those who merely feel. Machiavelli wrote, "A wise man should never allow himself to depend entirely on one thing or one person. Dependence destroys autonomy, and autonomy is the foundation of dominance. Never expose where your genuine allegiance rests. Let others believe you stand with them, yet remain liberated within." The appearance of loyalty carries far greater force than loyalty itself. Keeps others at ease while rendering you untouchable. In politics, commerce, and personal relationships, this is how empires are constructed. Kings collapse because they trust too profoundly. Subordinates are removed because they serve too devotedly. Friends become enemies because they demand equality where hierarchy prevails. When you are excessively loyal, people cease respecting you. They push your limits, they exploit your devotion, and they stop fearing your exit. Fear preserves order. When others realize you can depart without hesitation, they regard your loyalty as a privilege, not an entitlement. That is how respect is commanded. You must offer loyalty like a blade, precise, intentional, and only when it serves your advantage. Never present it as a gift. Gifts get forgotten, but weapons remain remembered. This mindset renders you unpredictable, which is the supreme psychological advantage. No one can manipulate someone they cannot categorize. And that is the core of Machiavellian power, to stay a mystery in plain sight, loyal outwardly but sovereign underneath. Today's world will label this cold or heartless. But those are the words of the weak, the very ones who idolize those who betrayed them. Hold this truth close. Loyalty devoid of strategy is self-betrayal. You owe nothing to anyone who would not sacrifice for your survival. Your allegiance must forever belong to your mission, not to those who drift in and out along the journey. Number 8. Achieve untouchable status. Reaching untouchable status is the highest evolution of power. It is the stage where no insult, betrayal, or scheme can penetrate your armor. This condition isn't about harshness or arrogance. It's about total sovereignty over yourself. The world will constantly hurl chaos at you. People will forever test your patience. And circumstances will never conform to your wishes. The fragile break, the afraid react, and the unprepared collapse, but the untouchable endure. They glide like shadows across the battlefield, unmoved, unshaken, unbound. Machiavelli penned these words: "The wise man will become his own master. Those mastered by others never truly know freedom." Genuine freedom springs from mastering oneself within. Becoming untouchable demands you stop pursuing love, approval, and validation. These are mere illusions, snares that bind you to the desires of others. Kindness goes unrewarded by the world, nor does virtue receive honor. It respects power, self-possession, and unwavering clarity. Once you cease depending on others to nourish your ego, you begin reclaiming your energy. That energy transforms into a fortress, protecting you from manipulation, deception, and distraction. The untouchable construct themselves with intention. Their investment goes towards skills, discipline, and strategy instead of approval. They develop patience, presence, and a calm self-assurance. Their reputation is built not through noise, but through consistency and unseen authority. Dark psychology shows us that people fear what lies beyond their control. When you release yourself from expectation, from reaction, from the desire to be understood or loved, you transform into a psychological enigma. Your moves become impossible to predict. Nobody can pull the strings of your mind. The levers have been stripped away. Those who are untouchable never act from emotion. Strategy drives their actions. Anger is calculated. Fear holds no weight, and desire remains disciplined. Each reaction carries purpose. Each silence holds meaning. You become the center around which chaos revolves, unshaken by the storms that destroy others. Machiavelli declared, "Being feared surpasses being loved when you cannot achieve both." Inspiring fear is not about terror. It concerns presence, control, and the recognition that opposing you carries a price. Being untouchable means making others pause before they dare challenge you. It is a silent proclamation that you are no longer available for exploitation. Neither betrayal, nor insult, nor manipulation can shake you because you are whole within yourself. You have ceased being a mirror of other people's opinions. You represent the total of your own strategy and willpower. To arrive at this stage, you must abandon the final traces of dependence, the urge to justify, the urge to forgive, the urge to be acknowledged. You must transcend attachment, resentment, and longing. The untouchable never flinch because they grasp the fleeting nature of external validation. They remain anchored to themselves, and that anchor cannot be torn away by circumstance. Upon reaching this level, power flows without effort. Others sense it instinctively. They will either respect it or fear it, but they cannot disregard it. You no longer take part in the manipulations of others. You have become the benchmark by which influence and control are judged. You navigate the world untouchable because you have conquered the only thing that ever truly mattered, yourself. Post this affirmation below. Nothing can break me. The world will attempt to shatter you. It will challenge your patience, betray your trust, and punish your goodness. It will reveal that fairness is an illusion, that people are unpredictable, and that the sole thing you can genuinely depend on is yourself. For far too long, you let others control your peace. You poured your energy into the undeserving, pleaded for understanding, and allowed attachment to shackle you to disappointment. But that concludes today. You now possess the blueprint to become someone no one can manipulate, no one can exploit, no one can reach. You have learned to cease giving to the ungrateful. You transformed your pain into power. You eliminated the need to be understood, separated from what drains you, and reinforced yourself with unbreakable boundaries. You have mastered silence, earned respect through composure, deployed loyalty strategically, and transformed into someone untouchable. None of this comes from luck. None of it comes easily. But each step you take in this direction removes the world's leverage over you. Machiavelli once declared, "What the fool does eventually, the wise man does at once." At last, today you are selecting wisdom. You are selecting control. You are embracing ruthlessness in its most disciplined, silent, and commanding form. This is the version of you that the world cannot bend, cannot control, and cannot shatter. The path forward will not be easy and difficulties will arise. Yet every trial now transforms into a tool. Every betrayal turns into a lesson. Every obstacle turns into a chance to prove that you are no longer open to exploitation. Those who are untouchable are forged in fire, honed by strategy, and guarded by self-mastery. Hold firm to this truth. Move through life with clarity and composure. Transform into the person who acts without apology, who leads without announcement, who ascends without permission. And as you walk this path, know that the world will see the change, but only after you have become untouchable. If this guide brought you value, be sure to press the like button. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to the channel for more strategies that build you stronger, sharper, and impossible to break. You are no longer the version that yields. You are the version that commands. Leave this final affirmation in the comments below. I am untouchable now.